Quote, "I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future." Nico Harrison. Except you were already built to win now. Luka literally just led the Mavs to the finals. The defense argument, I guess, kinda makes sense, but not when you give up your franchise player. On midnight of February 2nd, a blockbuster deal shook the entire NBA world by storm.
Morning, the Lakers and Mavericks making it a blockbuster night. Luka Doncic headed to the Lakers, Anthony Davis headed to the Mavericks in a seismic trade.
Luka Doncic, the 25-year-old superstar, a top 5, arguably top 3 player in the league who has not even reached his prime yet, and on his way to becoming the face of basketball. He should have been untouchable. Yet he got traded to the Lakers in a package that included a 31-year-old Anthony Davis and Max Christie, and only a single first-round pick. Overall, a very, very underwhelming trade for the Mavs, whose fans are now left wondering, what in the why? Nico Harrison, the president and general manager of the Mavs, participated in a news conference on the day of the trade, with Dallas reporters just absolutely baffled at his decision. You can tell the entire conference was awkward as hell, with Jason Kidd trying his best to hide his frustration. My initial reaction to this deal was, like everyone else, I thought it was fake. There's no way the Mavericks traded away a generational talent, and I know some folks like to throw out the term generational a lot, but Luka truly is a once-in-a-generation talent.
Luka splits a double, keeps the dribble alive, all the way to the hoop, scoop to the hoop with a foul! Point 71 and 72! And 1.
I then thought, well, this can't be right. There's no way, just no way any NBA executive would make this deal. My mind immediately went to, okay, something fishy is going on. This trade makes no sense for the Mavs. It screams some sort of conspiracy. There needs to be some sort of investigation. But perhaps maybe I haven't come to terms with the fact that the Lakers always end up with a superstar falling into their lap. In this video, I'm not gonna break down the Luka and Davis trade. I don't want to talk about how each player will fit on their teams. That's boring. I want to take a look into the history of Nico Harrison, the impact of the Adelson family, who, if you don't know, they're the new owners of the Mavs, and they should be put under investigation, along with the circumstances surrounding Luka Doncic that caused the team to make a decision like this. There's way more to this trade that you're not understanding, and I've done some research, trust me. For those who don't know who Nico Harrison is, long before he attracted league-wide attention for this trade, he became infamous for a different reason. For 20 years prior to his arrival to the Mavericks, he worked for Nike. Harrison held different positions at Nike over his 2 decades there, but his most notorious moment happened in arguably the worst moment in the history of the company. 2013. Nike scheduled a meeting with Steph Curry. At the time, he was on the rise to becoming a superstar, but not yet there. They were basically trying to get him to sign with the company for his own signature shoe. Nico Harrison was the man in charge of the presentation, in which he completely botched in more ways than you can count. First, Harrison pronounced his name as Stefan, not Stefan. Then, when he was presenting his PowerPoint presentation, the slides displayed Kevin Durant's name, suggesting that they reused the same presentation they did for KD. And then he even called him Seth in various moments throughout the meeting. It turned into a complete mockery of Steph Curry, and this one presentation alone was all he needed for him to realize Nike, and especially Nico Harrison, does not give a crap about signing him, and thus he signed with Under Armour instead. Now, I'm all for giving people second chances, but when Nico Harrison got appointed the president of the Mavs in 2021, he had zero experience in the front office at all. Usually, folks work their way up, or at least have some sort of previous experience working in the NBA front office before getting promoted to be president. So that was a surprise in itself. But considering the NBA is sponsored by Nike, and Nico worked there for like 20 years, perhaps there were some connections he tapped into to get that role. Because he worked so closely with some of the NBA's biggest names like LeBron and Kobe in the past, he could help attract superstars to Dallas and play with Luka. Heck, the Kyrie trade was exactly that, as him and Nico had a previous relationship because of Kyrie's time with Nike. Harrison had a very successful few years in Dallas. It resulted in several appearances in the conference finals and one finals appearance. His instrumental decision to trade for Gafford and PJ Washington to play alongside Luka were brilliant, and those trades catapulted them into legit contenders.
Against Gobert, tailed by McDaniels.
It's weird. Why would he go from making some incredibly good trades to this? He's clearly a smart guy, and every indication suggested he was a great GM, and great at analyzing talent. So why? Why did he do this? Enter the Adelson family. Mark Cuban, one of the most voracious and enthusiastic owners in all of sports, sold the majority of his shares of the team to Miriam Adelson and her family. The Adelson family now owns 72.3% of the team, while Cuban still retains 27.7%. One point of note is the Adelson family built their wealth in the casino and resort business, and by purchasing the Mavs, they wanted connections to establish and expand their primary business into Texas. Even though gambling is banned in Texas, Adelson had a plan. Reportedly, according to an NBC article, quote, Miriam Adelson has made no secret of her push to bring casino gambling to the Lone Star State. She pumped more than $2 million last year into a political action committee called Texas Sands, which donated lavishly to state legislators and swarmed the GOP-controlled Capitol with lobbyists. All of her efforts were to push Texas into legalizing casino gambling, which in turn would greatly benefit her family. By purchasing the Dallas Mavericks, it gives the Adelson family credibility. It gives them a foot in the door. It gives them power and influence in Texas, which is what they want. In fact, they don't even care about basketball, with even Mark Cuban admitting, quote, they're not basketball people. So why does all this matter? How does all of this tie into the Luka Doncic trade? Well, this is where my conspiracy mind comes in. I believe the Adelson family, whose main motivation is money and expanding their casino business, had a huge hand in the Luka trade. By trading Luka to Los Angeles, it gives them a new face of the franchise and solidifies their future with a 25-year-old superstar already on his way to becoming one of the greatest of all time. This leads to higher ticket prices, increased merchandise and revenue, more people coming into LA to watch Luka, which creates more jobs and opportunities. Basically, Luka's arrival to LA will bring in so much money to the city. A city that's already filled with the richest people on earth. And what do rich Los Angeles folks love to do? They love to take a day trip to Las Vegas to gamble. It's a 4-hour drive to Vegas, and with so much more money flowing into Los Angeles, as a result, more money will flow into Las Vegas casinos and resorts, which means more money for the Adelson family. This theory is compounded by the fact that, apparently, the Mavs only talked to the Lakers. The Lakers were the only team they were talking to about trading Luka. They did not talk to anybody else, which is, yet again, highly suspicious. Every team should be trying to get the best deal possible, so wouldn't it make sense to, talk to more teams? Not settle for a trade like this? Surely they could have gotten some more first-round picks in return from somebody else. To add on even further, the Adelson family was also directly responsible for the Oakland Raiders relocating to Las Vegas. Though that situation was wildly different, but who's to say that they won't do it again? This time with Dallas. There's rumors around the league that Vegas would be the next expansion team, but what if Adelson finds a way to get there first? By relocating the Mavs. If you look at it from this perspective, the Luka trade only benefits two parties involved. The Lakers, obviously, who have their new franchise player, and the Adelson family, who will benefit greatly from the new money flowing into LA, because they know it'll boost their Vegas businesses too. It doesn't benefit the Mavs. Like, as much as I dislike Nico Harrison for making this deal, it literally makes no sense why he would do that, unless he got coerced by the owners to trade Luka away. Just think about this from a roster perspective. Why would the Mavs even need Anthony Davis? Over the past few years, they acquired Derek Lively from the draft and traded for Daniel Gafford in order to fill their holes at the center position, with the sole purpose of giving Luka help in the paint. And to give the Mavs a better defensive anchor, which they did. I mean, they turned into one of the best defensive teams in the league, even without Davis. Nico Harrison also made a brilliant trade to acquire Kyrie. He made all these moves in the last few years with the sole purpose of helping Luka. Yet now he trades him away? It doesn't make any sense. He's not this dumb. That's why I believe the owner stepped in and had some influence on this trade, because they definitely approved it. Most reports have stated that Luka had no idea this was coming, and he did not request a trade at all. I've heard some detractors believe that, oh, he wanted to go to LA all along, or whatever. But if you want a clear-cut reason why Luka would not request a trade, it's because of his Supermax contract. By the summer of 2025, if Luka stayed with the Mavs, he would have gotten a contract of 5 years, $345 million. But now that he got traded, he's no longer eligible for the Supermax. In fact, he's gonna get like $100 million less than he could have gotten. So he lost a crap ton of money. It doesn't make any sense for him to request a trade or sign with any other team. The other implication of this is perhaps the Mavs ownership did not want to pay him this money. There have been criticisms of Luka in particular, being out of shape and not working on his body enough. His various injury problems should not be that serious, yet his rehab has gone slower than expected. Maybe the ownership saw this and figured, hey, I don't want to pay this guy, so let's trade him. Not realizing Anthony Davis for a long time was the poster child for injuries. Heck, remember when we used to call him Anthony Day to Davis? The injury excuse, it makes no sense, but behind the scenes, maybe Luka wasn't showing enough effort to getting healthy. And that was the reason for the trade? I don't know. It still sounds suspicious to me. Reportedly, Rob Pelinka was in conversations with Nico Harrison for a month before the Luka trade happened. The two of them are close and maintained a deep relationship when Pelinka was an agent, and Harrison worked at Nike. Apparently, they used to talk about trading Luka all the time behind closed doors. Pelinka thought it was a joke at first, but the conversation soon became serious, and getting Luka became a reality. I'm gonna go as far as to say that Pelinka socially engineered Harrison to thinking that this is a good trade. Either way, the idea that Nico only talked to the Lakers and nobody else, that seems unbelievable. But several reports confirmed it was true, as no other team knew this was happening. In the modern day and age of technology and social media, you can kinda guess when a trade is about to happen because everyone reports on it. There's rumors going around all the time. Except for this Luka trade. It came out of nowhere, and even right now, it's still perplexing. It's hard to find a bright side for the Mavs, but I guess they're still a good team, right? A duo of Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving surrounded by a cast of solid role players, they'll still be a playoff contender for the next few seasons. Considering their age, it won't last for long. Anyway, that's all folks. What do you think about this trade, and do you think there's some conspiracy going on that we don't know about? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.